Greetings, Dr. Joseph Martin. Our topic for today is mental and emotional health issues concerning bad credit debt. Now, this is part 3 of a 4-part series, and there may be others besides. This is following on numbers 1 and 2, which I highly suggest that you look at, maybe even before you see this one. My knowing, having been a psychologist and a psychotherapist for 38 years here in Canada, in Ontario and British Columbia, is that there are thousands and thousands, if not millions of people in Canada, let alone America and the rest of the world and the countries of the world, who have very, very serious mental, emotional, psychological health issues, and I might say even spiritual health crises around their concern and their involvement with bad credit debt in their personal lives on an ongoing day-to-day experience. And might I suggest that most people, in fact, the majority of the population in the world, is going through massive emotional crises and chaos concerning their increasing bad credit debt. This is bad debt from credit cards that they can't pay off, lines of credit they can't pay off, mortgages and rent that can't be paid, bills and food that can't be paid, and children's food and needs and clothing that needs attending to. On an increasing basis, with the cost of living and inflation going up, the cost of food and rent and housing going up, and some people out of work or getting lower or even minimum wages in many of all the countries of the world, we know that the seriousness of this, not just dealing with the bad credit debt on an ongoing daily and monthly basis for payments, but the bankruptcies and the trauma that and the chaos in one's personal life. If you know of somebody or you yourself may have gone through this bankruptcy, but nevertheless, how are you dealing with all your credit card debt? My suggestion is that you look and go running for as much information and knowledge and maybe support and help from counseling as possible. Here in Canada, we have a website, www.depressionhurts.ca. And there are many books you might read, but do talk to your family, your friends, and your counselor about this issue. Now, this debt will be a lifelong issue continuing throughout most of our lives on a national, an international, and a collective level, and probably a personal level. And I really feel for the millennials, of whom I have many friends, because they won't have it as easy as the boomer generation, and they need a lot of support and guidance and wisdom and direction. So speak up among yourselves and go seek some support and advice and guidance and insight. Now, first of all, most people don't know how they are affected mentally, emotionally, and physically through this amazingly intense amount of stress. Depression is one way of handling it, but depression is just a sublimation, a condensation, an unconsciousness of feelings and emotions that are buried within the unconscious mind and the unconscious physical body. What depression really is defined as, psychologically speaking, is held in or compressed, mostly on the surface, anger and rage. And we know there's an increasing amount of anger and road rage and shootings in every part of the world, often around the loss of a job and the loss of income. So it's definitely tied in with money, debt, and self-image. You may yourself be feeling some of these symptoms, and I really would highly suggest that you take to journal writing, you look at your dreams, you talk up about what you're feeling and get it out. That's the best thing you can do, speak up about it and share this with other people so that it will alleviate some of the pressure that you're feeling inside. It's like a pressure cooker. You need to take the lid off now, little bit by little bit, and deal with it in a very healthy way. What are some of the feelings? As I mentioned, anger and rage, of course, but there's also a lot of sadness and grief around this, that you're not capable or able, seemingly, to get a better job, make more money, um, fulfill the goals and dreams that you had with a career, and many other things that are related to this. The free floating anxiety that you might feel, which makes your mind speed and hyperactive and never seeming to get everything done, or if you're in a tizzy in your mind and hyperactive, you maybe not even get anything done during the day. You're just kind of whirling in a twirl in your head. This free floating anxiety hides a lot of intense inner fear and worry and dread about the present and about the future. You need to deal with this as well. Now, most of us don't like to think about our credit card debt and all the money that we owe. And we don't like to be phoned or called by the banks or the credit card companies or our place of work or whatever if we're behind on our payments. And why is this? Well, on the surface, we have a sense of honor and integrity and a sense of pride. I guess that's mostly ego, that we don't like to be seen in a way that we're not good enough. At least that's what we think. Along with that, though, there's a deep, abiding sense of shame, embarrassment, guilt, um, that other people will see us as less than. And this being a shame based international geopolitical situation and a shame based society, shame based culture, shame based families, shame based work and business associates, everything is done and manipulated interminably on the basis of trying to shame and belittle someone else. So the last thing we want is somebody calling us about what we owe them in terms of money. It's a very shaming thing, but I must say you must face your shame and deal with it in an honorable and a transformational, energizing, energetic way. A lot of the work that I did was very much what we call energy medicine, transforming all these feelings, because feelings and emotions are basically just held in energies that you can deal with and move with and boil or cook, if you like, it's a metaphor, in order to come up with a more balanced, harmonious way of life, which is the substance for our next part 4 of 4 video. To have a sense of integrity, you must deal with shame. And I would put shame in capitals as the thing for you to journal about and write about and talk about and get it off your chest. These are like wet, heavy blankets on your mind and your heart and your body and shoulders. Whatever insecurities you have, it may have led you to this place with the issues around money, because it's always tied in, as you know from part 1, around self-worth. But the whole goal and the learning around these issues, and obviously it's not just a personal issue, but a collective issue that we're all dealing with here in our evolutionary path as humans on the planet in the 21st century, is to learn how to transmute our shame into higher and greater self-worth, self-confidence, and self-esteem, and thereby self-love. Learn to love ourselves, have healthy boundaries, and so on. Many of these experiences leave us feeling unsafe and very vulnerable. And it also makes the inner child within you, and yes, all of us have inner child or children, feeling unsafe, and reminds your inner child of certain childhood experiences where he or she felt unsafe, unloved, uncared for, and unworthy. You will need to be looking at some of those issues for yourself with a clinical and a reliable, well-known therapist, psychotherapist, psychologist, counselor who's been well-trained and deals with these issues on an ongoing basis, and most importantly has dealt with the issues in her or his own life and personal experience. It's very essential to stop doing all the reactive things that we would do when we feel the shame around money or worth or inability to pay our debts or our monthly payments or bills or food even, or gasoline for our car. what we need to do is stop emotional overeating of foods that satisfy but give us zero nutrition. And we'll speak of this in part 4 next. To get over those reactive, self-protecting things that in fact are damaging and only burying all the true feelings and issues that we have. And of course, overeating is just one of the many addictions we have, a way of diverting ourselves from the real issue, which we really just need to face in our heart and our mind, in our soul and spirit. Some of these addictions include cigarette smoking, which we know is deadly and toxic. It's a way of killing ourselves, along with alcohol, drugs, heavy drugs, all sorts of other things, gambling of all things, which is on the increase, which will let or allow people to gamble away even all their own food and rent or mortgage money. Sex, pornography, many other addictions, sugars, which I would say sugar is deadly an addiction as alcohol or smoking, and it's portrayed as such by those in the health profession who find it criminal and immoral that companies like the soda pop companies and other processed food companies put extra sugar and don't label it in all the foods that are absolutely toxic and chemically deadening for your cells or your mind and your body. So here we have mental health and emotional issues which are extremely, extremely serious, both for you as an individual in your life and those you know and love who need your support and give them this extra knowledge. So pass this video along and play it forward, move it on, and getting real and getting authentic in your life and just facing the truth of what you need to become all the love and all the being that you know you can be. You can see the intensity with which I'm giving you this knowledge and information because I know what a serious and sincere issue it can and needs to be in your life now. With that, I'll just move us forward then into part 4, which will give us some of the solutions and some of the balance and harmony that we can find in our lives, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, socially, and in our work. So all love and blessings, Dr. Joseph Martin here for you. Take good care of yourselves, and I wish you all goodness on your path as you move forward and deal with these important issues. Om Namah Shivaya.